It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
Welcome to the Terror Dome. That's basically what this is this morning. We are gearing up for a trip from Flower Mound, Texas to Rochester, New York. Dropping the stepdaughter-to-be, who we absolutely love, off at college. A lot of emotions around here this morning. There's kids coming in and out, saying goodbye, breaking down. Mom is already on eggshells, which means this guy has to stay. That's it, baby. God is going to test me over these next 3 days. I want to pass. I want to pass. I'll let you guys know how I did. And we'll do 2 live shows from the road in upstate New York. It is the Pete Sousa Show. And we are presented by Slovaceks. Quick piece of business here. We got to shout out those who shout us out. Scotty B, the Baylor King. Let's go. Scotty B, the Baylor King, is an absolute nut when it comes to college football in the Big 12. Here you go. He's got a preview. It was on a podcast called Couple of Squares. It is on Spotify. Check him out. All of Scotty B's opinions do not represent those of the Pete Sousa Show, but Scotty Swinglers do. He is back in the studio, keeping us on the air. That's what Cam Stewart says. And we're going to have Cam Stewart in the C block. At least we're efforting Cam. Cam apparently is back in Central Texas. In the B block, we're going to talk with Jake Hatch from Locked On Cougs. A lot of great stuff about exactly what is going on with BYU, their quarterbacking situation, and how they are approaching this year coming into the Big 12. BYU 11-2 last year. Finished atop the AP poll. Right now, people aren't feeling the same way about that team. They are a dark horse, to say the least, in the Big 12, but folks around that program do not think that they are a dark horse. So Jake is going to get into that with us a little bit. A couple of items off the top. Well, I guess I'll just get into the meat of what I wanted to talk about in this first block before we go to Jake Hatch. Last night was home, by the way, like really, really tired. But I have an issue, by the way. When I do stuff around the house, I need an attaboy. I do. And I certainly don't need you to tell me what I'm doing wrong, right? Nothing is fine. An attaboy, that's great. Now that's for me and a therapist, but I figured I'd share with you guys. So after I was at home, not getting the attaboys that I ultimately feel I always deserve, I was doing some work on the old computer, and the Chiefs documentary, which I knew was coming out, Kingdom, was splashed across the scene. And let me tell you, this was a very good documentary. It is done so well. And they bring a lot of context to it. They bring a lot of context to the Chiefs organization, which is so cool. Lamar Hunt, all the way back to when the team was in the NFL. Then Lamar Hunt wasn't happy, so they bounced to the AFL. They give a lot of Andy Reid context. There is a lot of, and there's some darkness too. I was fortunate enough to have Britt Reid, Andy's son, who is recovering from drug addiction. He was on the podcast I do about sobriety, The Payoff with Pete. And on that podcast, Britt shared a story, the devastating story in 2012, when his brother Garrett, who suffered from the same disease, died in Eagles training camp. And they chronicle that in this Kingdom documentary. And Andy Reid and Tammy Reid, his wife, it's just like, it's sort of emotional watching it. And it's really cool to see two people who sort of just vibrate on a different level. I'll leave it at that, the way they handle everything with their son. Louis Riddick is in the documentary. At one point, he's like, Louis Riddick was working for the Eagles at this time. And he said, like, I was a shell of myself, right? I was like so emotional. This is at Garrett Reid's funeral. And he said, Andy was just like, he helped me. And, he was the one that was the light in this horrible time. So they do a great job, right? They cover it all. And they do a great job too, going into the Patrick Mahomes, how Patrick Mahomes was drafted, how the Chiefs general manager now, but at the time, this guy was a former intern for Andy Reid in Philly. He fell in love with Patrick Mahomes and would not let go of the idea that Patrick Mahomes was the future. And clearly he hit that one out of the park. So that documentary is awesome. Now, let's nitpick here. Too soon. We already suffered from Chiefs fatigue last year. As a country, as an NFL fan base, I think we can all, that was the talk of most of the postseason and some of the regular season. And, a lot of that's BS, but there has been a lot of Chiefs, right? Like a lot of Chiefs stuff over the past couple years. So this documentary, albeit fun and revealing and takes you under the hood, it's nothing like new. Okay, now let's turn the page. Okay, Jerry Jones and the Netflix documentary that is coming out about the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I have on good authority that this documentary is as good or maybe better than The Last Dance. Okay, and that good authority comes from, there's nobody better to critique documentary films, in my estimation, than Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons and Connor Shaw they brought 30 to 30 to all of us, 34-30 to all of us some, I don't know, 16 years ago, right? 2009, 2010. It changed the way that we view sports in a documentary fashion. Now, prior to that, remember, all the sports documentaries was either ESPN Sports Century Classic, which were good, but HBO had the corner, right? They had the corner on a lot of the sports documentaries, and the documentaries were great, right? But Bill Simmons, he had this idea that we could bring, or they could bring, new documentaries that chronicled ESPN's first 30 years. Some of those were home runs, like the U, or Small Potatoes, the USFL. By the way, I picked up this new USFL picture right here. I'm not going to show it to you because it could screw up. I went to this place in Flower Mound yesterday. I got this 1983 original USFL. I got to show it to you. Forget it now. Check it out. Check that out. It's got the ticket and everything, right? Come on, dude. I got it for, I think it was $50. And I also got a Hope Solo jersey. Autographed Hope Solo jersey. I brought it up to the guy. Let me grab it real quick. Hold on, Scotty. It's right out here. So, all right. So I'm checking out, and I see this jersey, right? And I'm like, I gotta have it, dude. I gotta have it. So check this out, Scotty. Peep this. Okay, it's autographed, and come on. So I bring it up to the counter, and I think it was like $50. And I just looked at the guy. I'd already had the picture with me. I was like, dude, I'll give you 20. And he just stared at me. Deal. So now I got my Hope Solo shirt too. But it was really cool yesterday. Just kind of walking down memory lane and hearing all this stuff about the Cowboys. But I kind of lost my train of thought, but I'll get back to it. So anyways, okay. Let's go back to Jerry Jones, right? So, no. 30 for 30, USFL, Small Potatoes. I digress. So Bill Simmons on his podcast with Cousin Sal, who's the all-time Cowboys fan, and Brian Curtis, who not only is a Cowboys fan, used to write for, was a Texas Monthly guy, went to UT, and now is a critic for, obviously, sports media, for The Ringer, and is just amazing, and is from the DFW, right? So nobody knows the Cowboys better than him. And these three guys who have seen advanced copies of this documentary were falling all over themselves. Now, these are three guys who you feel like you know them, folks that watch this show every day. You know me, you know Scotty, right? Because we're pretty authentic. Those guys were falling all over themselves about how good this documentary is. And let's get into why, okay? Some of these stories. Now, imagine this. I lived it, okay? And Scotty, this is actually for somebody like you, and maybe we can talk about this later, but like, you really didn't live this. Like, and that's not a knock. It's just like kind of how it is for a lot of people that are like in their 30s or younger. I remember when Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys. That was crazy as it was. Initially, right away, he fires Tom Landry. Now, Tom Landry at the time was 65, but it seemed like he was like 90, okay? Andy Reid is 67 right now, okay? But Tom Landry was fired at 65, and there were all kinds of like, there had been scuttlebutt that he had dementia issues, or not dementias, that's taking it too far, but there were memory issues that he was starting to show his age a little bit, right? And a little mental fatigue. So Landry's gone. Okay. It's like gangbusters the way it happens, you know, the Mexican restaurant, right? Bear the Truth. We've talked about that. I think it was, Ian Rappaport, Ivan Mizell. Ivan Mizell was writing for the Dallas Morning News. And he was at dinner with his wife at this restaurant where Jerry and Jimmy come in. Ivan Mizell calls the sports desk at the Dallas Morning News. They get a photographer out there, pop. It's on the front page the next morning, right? Like Jimmy Johnson is going to be the next coach and Tom Landry is out. And what do they do in the first year? They trade Herschel Walker, which was basically like the Nico Harrison deal with Luka. Nobody got it. Jimmy Johnson was so ahead of the curve. Mike, whatever, I forget his last name, the GM of the Vikings, didn't really even understand the trade. He didn't understand that the five guys that Jimmy Johnson got, like Jesse Solomon, Darren Nelson, a couple other dudes like that, like the Cowboys got them, but if they cut them, they would receive draft picks as compensation. They cut everybody, right? They get all the draft picks in the world. And then you have players like Michael Irvin, right? The playmaker, the ultimate like king of controversy, right? On and off the field, the arrests, stabbing Everett McKeever in the neck, right? He talks about that. There was a murder for hire plot on Irvin's life. I'd forgotten about this, right? And all the while, Jerry Jones is piecing together this dynasty that dominated the 90s. A couple things that people don't know about Jerry Jones that make him so special, right? And again, this leads to the Jerry Jones mystery, right? I said yesterday, The Wizard of Oz. This documentary is going to cover one. He basically brokered the deal for the NFL on Fox with Rupert Murdoch, okay? He went away from the NFL and was like, we're going to sign a Nike deal exclusive to us. And in an era where, it was all about you had to share revenue and stuff with everybody else in the league, Jerry Jones was like, I'm not sharing this. Like, the Cowboys are more important we make more money than everybody else in the league. We're not sharing this. He did it. The league sued. He countersued for a ton of money. And the list goes on, right? And the off the field stuff was okay. So a couple of things about the documentary. I'm getting carried away. Jerry Jones sells the rights to this doc to Skydance and Netflix. And it's obvious that Jerry Jones did not have like there is some dark stuff in there about Jerry Jones. Now, the two words paternity suit, I am told, did not come up, right? So that's one thing that was sort of left out. But they go into Jerry Jones. Obviously, some of his decisions that have been wrong off the field, personally and professionally. They also talk about how much of a gambler he is and was then, and how that gambling attitude, almost Simmons refers to it as irrational confidence, led to him building this dynasty, but also on the back end of it, led to this dynasty falling apart. I mean, Ed Werder and Matt Mosley, I texted Mosley this morning. I'm like, if you and Werder don't do a doomsday podcast on this, it's criminal. Okay, because they talk about in this documentary, right? They're at the owners' meetings. Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, their relationship is falling apart. Jerry is getting drunk at the bar, right? And Jerry says to Ed Werder and a couple other guys who are beat writers, hey, stick around. I'm going to fire his ass later on tonight. Like, these guys were at the owners' meetings, like a bunch of beat writers, like, holy shit. And it speaks to a couple things. One, we didn't have Twitter and the 24-hour news cycle back then, but we still had Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones. So there was like an unadulterated like drip that we got. He was always on, and guys were always, writing stories about him. I read the book Boys Will Be Boys, the Jeff Pearlman, where he chronicles this whole era of Cowboys football. I listened to it twice. That's 3 times. It's just an amazing book. But it goes into all kinds of stuff. On the tail end of the Cowboys dynasty, Troy Aikman, the poor guy, is getting concussion after concussion after concussion after concussion, like 9 unreported, 5 official. He doesn't even remember one of those NFC championships, like doesn't remember it at all. No memory. Okay. That's the kind of stuff that was flying under the radar, right? That nowadays we would be like, holy mackerel. Football, and it's hard for people, I think, nowadays to imagine, but football really kind of meant more back then because we weren't oversaturated. You know what I mean? Like the Sunday games, Sunday night games were brand new pretty much. There was no real Thursday night unless it was Thanksgiving. Monday night was epic. And the Cowboys were at the center of all of this. And they continued to win and win and win. You're signing guys like Charles Haley. Charles Haley is urinating on the general manager's desk in San Francisco. Cowboys were like, yeah, we'll take him. Come on. I mean, the Charles Haley stuff is wild, and it's not PG. We'll put it that way. But this doc is going to shed light on the fact that what Jerry Jones did for the NFL, for the Cowboys, for pro football as we know it, was an absolute home run. Dude hit it in the nickel seats. A lot of the things that we enjoy today as luxuries, right? Whether it is, football stadiums, right? Like Jerry World being an absolute mecca, the television deals, a lot of the money these front offices bring in through marketing deals, This is Jerry Jones was at the forefront of a lot of that, which is why many times you don't see him get taken to task by Roger Goodell and the powers that be in the NFL. Now, is there right, wrong, or indifferent? That is what it is. But I'm just going to finish this up by, let's just go over the White House. The White House, right? By the way, the White House only had 4 rooms, 4 bedrooms. It was not like overwhelming, okay? But let's just go over the characters in this movie, people who are in this doc who are interviewed. Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, obviously, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Dion. You got to get through Skip Bayless, and the list goes on. And our executive producer, Chris Visser, his sister Leslie turns up a bunch of times early on. We got to get either Leslie or Pam Oliver on to talk to us about that era and covering those teams as like a sideline reporter, kind of being in the mix, down in the weeds. Another thing I'll mention too is that John Madden and Pat Summerall were so important to that era of football. And they mentioned this on the Simmons pod. Like when John Madden said something, like it reverberated throughout the NFL world and actually throughout your family room and your living room, because my mom cared what John Madden had to say. My dad cared. My grandmother cared. So when John Madden is saying Barry Switzer is a moron, in so many words, I'm paraphrasing, for going for it twice, running the same play on the road at Philly on 4th down, like people are like, whoa, that's crazy. Or another example, when John Madden goes down to the Cowboys locker room after Emmitt Smith plays pretty much the entirety of a divisional, a regular season game to clinch the division at New York in East Rutherford. He's playing with a separated shoulder. John Madden's like, that's the bravest thing I've ever seen on a football field. That is like anointing Emmitt Smith. It was a different time, and I can't wait to relive it. And once again, though, the bottom line, and I haven't done the best job of making this point, but like Jerry Jones has done it again. I almost think as though when this whole thing is going on with Micah Parsons this preseason, right? And I do believe that Jerry Jones is more addicted to being the prolific caricature of a person that he has become. He's more addicted to that than winning football. Cowboys fans have seen that, and that's unfortunate. And it has played out over the past 30 years. I would even say it is like that adrenaline is like heroin to him, right? He cannot deny it. Brian Curtis said, again, the guy, the media critic, the guy who covers media for The Ringer, Jerry Jones's ultimate goal is to be a character in the prestige television show that is the Dallas Cowboys. And he's the main character, right? And the Micah Parsons thing this preseason is just another thing. And, we live in this myopic world where we actually use common sense. Like he doesn't live there. Jerry Jones doesn't live there. He lives in a place where watch this, And by the way, he knows how good this doc is going to be. He knows how strong it is going to be. It's almost, and hang in there with me, okay? It's almost Michael Jordan and The Last Dance, what it did to re-energize his legacy, right? That's what this is going to do for Jerry Jones. It is going to make a lot of folks reconsider his legacy. It is going to make a lot of folks look at Jerry Jones in a different light. It does not take away all the pain and suffering for Cowboys fans over these past 20 years or 30 years, whatever. But it will open up some eyes, and it will make some people stop and say, oh, so that's why. I get it. Like this guy is a historic figure who ignited change for one of the most important organizations in the NFL, ultimately igniting change in the league, the most important league on planet Earth. So, I mean, you got to give the guy his flowers. I hate saying that. Yeah, it is. I can't wait. But, I mean, by all counts, I heard this is going to be amazing. A couple of notes to it. It comes out, I think, the 19th, right? So that's next Tuesday. I won't even be back from New York by then, guys. I'll be coming back Tuesday night. But and you can binge it, right? You can watch all, I think it's 7-8 episodes, and you can binge it all. So It's not like The Last Dance where you have to wait. And The Last Dance and people waiting for the weekly episodes was perfect because it fit right into that COVID shutdown, right? It gave us stuff to look forward to. This, you think about it. It comes out like as the preseason is tailing off and the regular season is getting set to ramp up. So look, I would just say I can't wait. I urge people to enjoy it. It also shows to me when we mentioned the Chiefs and the Cowboys, Doc, just how much better and I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a prisoner, Pete. The Cowboys dynasty in the 90s beats the shit out of the Chiefs dynasty right now because of and look, man, you've got a lot of bells and whistles with the Chiefs, but you can't touch that Cowboys group. You just can't. I mean, like the White House, like we're talking about, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, even like Eric Williams getting into that tragic accident that maybe cost the Cowboys a Super Bowl. There's so much in there. So I can't wait for it. I also can't wait to hear from Jake Hatch. On the other side of the break, we're talking to Locked On's own Hatcheroo. Jake had me on his sports show, which he produces, KSL Sports in Salt Lake City earlier this week. So we did a little home and home. And there's a lot to talk about. Jake is basically about to reveal to us who the starting quarterback for BYU is going to be. And it's a big deal, dude. It's a big deal. Stay tuned. Jake Hatch coming back on the other side. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacix rolls on after this.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALusa.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology. that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Once again, lucky us. We got Jake Hatch from Locked On Cougs. He's joining us right now from a faraway location in parts unknown. Is he in Hawaii? Is he in Salt Lake City? We don't know, but he's back ready to rock and roll and talk BYU football. Jake, how's it going?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, man, it's great to be back. And there's so much going on in the Big 12. I find myself this time of year almost getting spread thin, getting ready for the season, which is why it's so awesome to have dudes like you on who not only have a grasp on the conference, but also have a grasp, obviously, on what's going on with BYU. Mm-hmm. Take us inside the quarterback competition right now and tell us, where does it stand?
So it's officially down to 2. Aaron Roderick stood up in front of the media earlier this week and said that it's going to be Bear Bachmeier and McKay Hillstead taking the majority of the first-string reps. So that eliminates Trayson Bourget from the race at this juncture. But the thing is, BYU has their second and final scrimmage of training camp coming up this weekend, and I think that is going to be the one that essentially narrows this down to, okay, which guy is it? Because at that point, you're about 2 weeks out from the start of the season, and you need to sink 80 to 90% of those reps into whoever it is that's going to be your quarterback, because they've got to get up to speed. BYU has too much riding on the season to allow this QB race to extend much further than even maybe Monday next week. So they've got to absolutely narrow it down. Now, it sure feels like it is Bear Bachmeier's to lose because of his upside, his youth, the potential there. But McKay Hillstead's right in it right now.
How has Bear Bachmeier found himself so integrated in this battle? I mean, of course, yeah, talent alone, but he missed spring ball. Obviously, the transfer, he came over late with his brother from Stanford, who they'll have a crack at playing in the second week, which will be so wild if he is the starter. But how has he been able to, be so advanced, right, coming in as a guy who's never played college football and never played for BYU?
He is really, really smart. Now, his older brother Tiger, as you mentioned, came over from Stanford with him. Tiger graduated from Stanford University in 2.5 years in computer science, no less. This family's absolutely brilliant, as I understand it. I know Tiger at least speaks Mandarin Chinese, from what I understand. They fly airplanes. This is a pretty eclectic bunch, speaking of the Bachmeier family. Anybody who watched their older brother Hank playing for Boise State, Louisiana Tech, and ultimately Wake Forest during his career knew that he was a pretty decent quarterback in his own right. They're a football family. Tiger plays wide receiver and is a return guy, but they love football, and it sure seems like he has come in. He's ingratiated himself with his teammates and the coaches, but the most important thing, to your point, Pete, is he picked up this playbook in no time flat. He had about 2 months to get up to speed, and from everything that BYU players and coaches tell us, he knows the insides and out of this playbook, and that has absolutely given him a leg up in this competition.
It's funny, it goes back to Moneyball about like confidence with these guys. I used to spot for
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination.
Lucky us, we got Jake
and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com.
Like, if you were to pick somebody who looked like a college quarterback, it was Hank Bachmeier. Same thing with Bear Bachmeier. Like, these guys just come with the confidence, with the moxie, with the poise. And what you're telling me is that Bear has that on display right now.
Yeah, he is showing an adept ability to just play with some swagger. That's the thing we've noticed with him is he's unafraid of the moment. And that was the kind of same thing with Hank Bachmeier. I remember watching him at Boise State. He's a freshman quarterback. And you're like, he's got some poise to him. Like, he absolutely was unafraid of the moment. I think that's the same thing here with what Bear is showing to the BYU coaching staff. So it's a great sign for the Cougars to see him doing his thing. And the hope is that as he continues to progress in this offense and pick it up, they're pretty easy first half of the season this year in terms of the schedule, and that could allow him to ease into that role. And hopefully by the time they get to Utah in Game 7, if he is indeed the guy, he's more fully capable of taking over a game.
You basically went right to my next question. You know, this is a team that finished 11-2 last year with a ton of momentum. You know, the Jake Retzlaff stuff seems to be behind the program now, but even I always try to add some context. If I remember last year, that competition came down to the wire, right? So, so it's not like unthinkable that BYU would have a quarterback competition in camp and still be able to do very well, especially in those first 6 games you mentioned as the schedule lends itself to success early. What is the biggest hurdle, though, overall for this BYU team right now? A team who finished last year, I think, ranked 13th in the AP.
Well, the biggest thing for them is making sure the veterans around a guy like Bear, if he is indeed the choice, make him feel comfortable. You've got really good wide receivers, obviously headlined by Chase Roberts. You got 2 veteran running backs, and LJ Martin, Sione Mo are supposed to really carry the load in the running game. So you need to make sure that you give him as many advantages as a quarterback with these veteran players around him to set him up for success. So I think that's the number one thing for BYU is, were they all kind of anticipating going into the offseason having a returning quarterback in Jake Retzlaff? Absolutely. And they'd probably be further ahead right now if he was still in Provo, but he's at Tulane now, and you have to pick up the pieces. So I think the biggest thing is just making sure that he feels comfortable playing around a pretty veteran-laden squad outside of that, and the indications so far are so good.
There's new pieces on the offensive line, new coaching on the offensive line. Where is that group right now? Because we know that is the bedrock for the offense and for a guy like Bear Bachmeier or whoever were to be the quarterback to succeed.
Well, so they had to replace their starting center in Connor Pay and their 2 tackles on the outside. And the nice part is they've felt like they have found 3 guys at least who will fill those roles. One of them is a former Michigan Wolverine and Andrew Gentry. They really like him at right tackle. Isaiah Jota is a transfer from Colorado. Pete, I don't know how many players in their college football careers will do what Isaiah Jota did last year, transferring from Colorado. He's a senior eligibility-wise, but still had a redshirt year. So what did BYU do? They redshirted him. The whole thought process of getting kind of him more integrated into the team, and had injuries hit, they would have not hesitated to put him in a game, but they had the luxury of playing him in the 4 games and then ultimately getting him back here where he's going to be the starting left tackle. And they think he's absolutely going to be very, very solid on the edge out there. So, the offensive line, it looks pretty solid considering you had to replace 3 really, really good players from last year's squad. But I think they're very confident that they've got 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 guys that can contribute in meaningful fashion on that front line.
Jake, up front defensively, I want to stay in the trenches. That's a young unit, but you got transfers like Keanu Tanavasa. You have that's a huge part of their success, right? Was last year. How does this defensive line allow this team to win football games, close games like they were able to win last year?
It's going to unlock this defense's full potential. We had Jay Hill, and Jay's not a guy that's going to go out there and just kind of make things up when he speaks to the media. But he said, I really like what our pass rush is doing right now. And that's been the one thing BYU's been lacking with him as defensive coordinator, even before he arrived in Provo, was they just haven't had a pass rush. I think the last time they had a player with double-digit sacks, Pete, was 10 years ago, 2015, if I recall correctly. So it's been a hot minute since they've had an effective pass rush. If that is indeed the case, that they've got that this year, Jay Hill's defense seemed even better than it was a season ago. You mentioned Keanu Tanavasa. We get to watch between 20 and 30 minutes of practice when we're out there for media availability, just in the media. And I have watched Keanu Tanavasa. If they try and block him one-on-one, he wins every single time. He is going to absolutely wreck shop, and that's his mentality. He said, my mentality every single play is either to make the play or to essentially force the play where I want it to go. I'm like, that's a great mentality to have as a defensive tackle. So, yeah, it's a relatively young unit outside of guys like him and Logan Latui on the edge as a defensive end. But the nice part is the talent. They really, really like it. It's going to have to obviously get seasoned very, very quickly, but they really like the makings of what they have on the defensive line.
You mentioned Keanu Tanavasa, obviously coming over, transferring from Utah. Any bad blood there? But I mean, there's bad blood, right, between BYU and Utah. But as far as that transition is concerned, there was some scuttlebutt around media days. Where do we sit right now as far as like that soap opera is concerned?
I think it's just kind of where it's at. He absolutely loves being in Provo, Utah. I know that Utah fans are still butthurt is probably the best term to use about him leaving the Utes and going to their arch rival. But I think that he is at peace with his decision. He's playing very, very well. And the whole thing for him, and he told me this at Big 12 Media Days, Pete, he says essentially, I've got 1 year to get it right here in Provo because he anticipates going to the NFL next year. And the one thing he's got to show is he can stay healthy and stay on the field because he only played 7 games a year ago and dealt with a number of different injuries while he's playing for Utah. So if he can go out and play 12, maybe 13 games if BYU gets to a bowl game, etc., and show that the best ability is availability, I like to use that term all the time. If that is how he is capable of doing that, and he has that game record that he believes himself to be, yeah, he's going to absolutely shine. And I think the bad blood will still be coming from Salt Lake, but I think he's very happy where he's at.
Couple more questions for you before we let you out of here. Who will be the leader of this team, in your opinion? Because if you're going to, again, continue and pick up on the momentum from last year's 11-2 season, you need direction, right? Like, who is the player in the locker room? Because Bear Bachmeier, let's say if he starts, we're talking about a young guy. Who will lead this team to success this year?
So this is a team, guys like Connor Pay, their starting center last year, Tyler Badia at defensive end. They were the vocal guys. They would get in people's faces and absolutely bark at dudes if need be. I have been wondering myself, Pete, who was going to be the guy or guys that are going to step into those roles, because there's a lot of guys who like to lead by example. I look at Isaiah Glasker or Jack Kelly at linebacker. They're more lead by example guys because they're just incredible football players. But you need to have somebody who's willing to say hard things when they're needed to be said. And I'm not going to lie, I think it's Keanu Tanavasa. I really think that he's that guy. He has shown himself to be leading from the front versus pushing from behind. He absolutely believes himself to be maybe the best player on this roster because that's what he wants for himself. He wants to be the best he possibly can be, but he's also shown in the short stints I've seen him out there to be a very vocal leader. So I think he'll be one of those guys. For the defense in particular, I think on offense it's going to be Chase Roberts. Chase has been a guy who's been more of a lead by example in the past, but I think he realizes this is now a team that he needs to take hold of. And yeah, if Bear Bachmeier isn't ready maybe to be that vocal leader right now, Chase Roberts is going to step up and do that.
You're right in the mix with this team. You have been for a very long time, all the way back to going to games with your grandfather. When you see this team up close and personal in training camp and all the coverage you have, what has surprised you the most about this Cougars team in fall camp? Whether it's a player, whether it's a situation, a particular unit, what's grabbed you?
The fact that they don't even feel like they're going to fall off at all this year. They have been talking nonstop, Pete. Every interview I've done with people, they use the term, we want to go from good to great. They knew they were really, really close to making the Big 12 title game last year. Had they not slipped up against Kansas, or had they completed that comeback against Arizona State, they're playing in Arlington. And that's how close they were to playing in the Big 12 title game. They want to get there. And it sure feels like just the feeling around this team is, yeah, we may have lost Jake Retzloff. We had a handful of guys exit the program just due to their eligibility expiring. We had a couple transfers, etc. But their mindset is, we're not falling off. We're just going to keep doing what we do. And we anticipate winning and winning at a high level. And I can respect it because they've got a lot of veterans coming back from last year's squad. And I will say it's been a little bit surprising that they have spoken so openly about, like I said, going from good to great. But I love the mentality.
I love the potential long-term for BYU to be a power in the Big 12. And college football is changing. You were nice enough to have me on DJ and PK earlier this week. And they asked me a really good question, like, who can develop a strong foothold and remain atop the conference? I believe with the resources that BYU has, they've shown that they have them. Texas Tech is another team that could really develop into a power. And honestly, I feel like it could change the identity of the conference. If schools like that can continue to recruit like they have been, I mean, we've seen it in this short window already. Now, things will change, right, with that House ruling as far as how much money you can spend. But there'll be a lot of money for legitimate NIL deals, right, to continue to bring in the talent. Do you believe, or is there a vibe around Provo that BYU really can be one of those teams? Because if you have the resources to get the best players in the country, and it's a beautiful school, a beautiful university, obviously, like, there's a lot of good stuff going on out there in Provo. Do you believe it could ascend now in this new era of college football to being a power in the Big 12 and ultimately the country year in and year out?
That's what they want to do. I'll just tell you that's their mindset from the athletic department on down, the university level even. They want to be among, if not the top team in the Big 12 conference. They went independent for 12 years, but before that, they were one of the top teams in the Mountain West. Before that, the WAC. They've had a long history of being one of the better, if not the best team in the leagues that they have played in, Pete. And their ambition now that they're the highest level of the sport, speaking of the FBS Power 4 level, they anticipate, or at least are expecting, that they can ascend. Now, you're going to have to contend with Texas Tech and the oil money they've got there. We just saw David Booth give Kansas $300 million, just an incredible amount of money. I'm not saying that BYU can't get some boosters out there that have those type of deep pockets, because they have them.
No, they got them. Come on, man. We've seen with basketball.
Yeah, they got them. They do have them. The issue is BYU wants to do it on their terms, if that makes sense. They want to go out there. They want to win at a high level. And we had former BYU AD Rondo Fehlberg. He was an AD in the 1990s. Come on DJ and PK, the show you mentioned on my radio station, the KSL Sports Zone. This goes back 3 or 4 months ago when Brian Santiago was hired as BYU's new AD to replace Tom Homo. He said that the whole mentality for BYU is they want other people to pump them up. They don't want to be puffing out their chest and beating their chest saying, hey, we're BYU. They want everybody else in the league to do it for them. And what that requires is you winning, and you winning at a high level.
I love it. Jake Hatch, Locked On Cougs. Man, looking forward to this season. Looking forward to circling back and talking with you. We're almost there, brother. We are almost there, but I appreciate the time today.
Thanks for having me, as always.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Cam! Cam, look at this. Look at this. Ready? This is for you. Hold on, ready?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. His heart talks, but his groin talks louder. The Hope Solo. What even is that? That looks like a practice jersey you see in a commercial.
No, well, it's a goalie jersey. You know, it's authentic. I got the certificate of authentic. Huh?
There's no emblem on it.
Well, I guess it's like a USA jersey, no? Or maybe it's I don't know.
This reeks a lot of your Cam Scattaboo jersey.
No. This is legit, dude. I got the certificate of authenticity right here. I mean, it's totally legit, right?
Certificate of authenticity.
Yeah.
It's not signed.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. So it's authentic in that it was signed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are meant for frames so you don't see the front of it.
Yeah, I think that's
exactly it.
This may be the last time I wear it. I couldn't help it. I mean, like literally, I was walking out of this memorabilia store and I was like, I'll give you $20 for it. And the guy was like, yeah.
Look, buddy, I'll give you $20 in your hand right now. As someone who's had to sell their car over the internet in the last year, I know how that works. And Grace had to do the same thing a few months ago. And just be like, look, I'll take the $2,700 in my hand today. Fine.
It's the Don King method, dude. Just like, here's a briefcase full of $50,000. I know I owe you $500, but this is $50.
That is very much I don't use it as much as I should, but that is something my dad has passed on to me. He did, in no uncertain terms, said you'd be surprised at how much people will wiggle on price when you have just cash.
That's it.
And I'm talking like hospitals will do this. I successfully did this for a hospital stay, and they charged me as like $1,200, and I was like, look, I can give you 800, and they said okay. Like that's crazy, man.
People just, even the IRS, they just want to work with you. That's true.
Yeah, and they like money.
Okay, Cam, hold on.
Yeah.
First of all, you look fantastic.
Thanks.
What brings you back to Central Texas?
The old lady is graduating on Saturday.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
She's graduating from grad school, correct?
Yes, getting her PsyD doctorate tomorrow.
And you guys are in the midst of a move to Massachusetts.
Already made it, brother.
And so your feet are up, you're relaxing, you're doing the Cam show, which is
Yep.
kicking ass.
Yep.
And
New studio and everything.
What'd you say?
New studio, new home studio for the Cam show. Looks great.
I wouldn't know because you haven't asked me on.
Yeah. I asked you on today, but I will have you on soon. I'll have you on soon. I know you have a busy month, man. You got a busy month.
I do, but let me ask you this. What do you think about the changes at the Rogue Media Network? Like you and I literally, we started this thing on, I mean, we didn't start it off. Mike Hamilton started it with Corey.
Yeah.
Or Corey with Mike, however you want to do it. But like we were like, we were blind looking, dude, going 100 miles an hour, just kind of running with scissors this time last year. And now look at this evolution, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing a live show every day at this point last year. We're still waiting for you, but yeah, it is. I mean, it is incredible. I could spend a whole show talking about it, and I just might for my show. No, it's unbelievable. I haven't been here in studio in 8 months now, and the studio looks unbelievable. And it looked great when we were here. Like what you see behind me is still what we had. Like that's what people said every time they walked in here. They like didn't expect us to be legit.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, actually, this is pretty legit." And we've expanded our programming. I mean, we've got people with offices on different floors here. It is pretty. We've got a real receptionist here, someone working the desk, not just me out there having to go sick Mike every time somebody came out here. You didn't want my ugly mug. The first thing you see as you walk in the door. So it is amazing, man. Like we're only getting better. We're only getting bigger.
What do you think about Mosley? His first show is, I think, Tuesday.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. And we were just talking right before we went on the air. Mosley on Twitter is starting to catch fire. Okay. We're getting close to football season because the man's starting to cook. He's got some thoughts on this Michigan penalty today. He had some thoughts about that awful article saying that UT's the new Alabama. Like Mosley's starting to get into this. He's starting to get in, and it's coming in at the right time. He's got a difficult emotional week coming up.
Yeah, he's dropping off his daughter at A&M, right?
Which is, I know that's killing him. I know that's just killing him. He won't say it. He loves his daughter, whatever she does, but I know that's eating away at him a little bit. So I'm really excited to see the Mosley show back. And like it's been an empty couple of weeks without having any kind of Mosley show. So I'm excited about it.
What are your thoughts on the Rogue Media Baylor pregame show? Like it's Matt Mosley, it's Faith Lynch.
Yep.
And then like guests, like my first game is a Thursday night game at Houston, so I'll be able to come through for Friday. And like, if they'll have me on, I'll be on. Scotty's like the point person, like live outside. It's going to be on KWTX. Like
yes,
popping, dude.
Yes, that's right. Like this is like the most excited I am about the Rogue Media Network right now. Is that Green and Gold pregame show? Because you get your Mosley. You get your Faith Lynch. You talked about it a little bit too. You got Scotty behind the scenes, and there is nobody who is doing this every day that knows more about Baylor than Scotty. Like this is like an unreal combination of these three, plus the guests, plus the Pete Sousa. You might see some Cam Stewart in there. You might. I haven't been contacted, but my phone line's open, man. I'm open. I've got a home studio. I've got like 10 weddings this fall, so Mosley will love scheduling around that. But
by the way,
I'm really excited for it.
Where are you staying tonight?
I'm not going to give you what hotel.
But I can, if you need play, you can stay at my place. I can just give you the code. I will.
Thanks, man. Thanks. We're staying at a pretty nice hotel. It's not on my bill, so
Okay. All right. Cool.
I appreciate that though.
Yeah.
I got to get my eats out of the way. I'm gonna eat a bunch of crap this weekend, which is not any different from my normal everyday life. It's just crap I haven't had in 8 months. So,
what do you think about? All right, I wanted to talk to you about best and worst owners in sports.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time.
I guess
I am bedazzled by this. The first block of the show, this Cowboys documentary, I'm hearing it is going to be like really, really, really good. I didn't want to be that guy, but I sent Mosley a text this morning. I said, if you do a special Doomsday with Werder about like a reaction to this doc, I was like, your fans are going to love it. Your fans are just going to love it, dude.
So when is like the time frame for it? Is this like all of Gary's ownership?
Let me help you out because I talked about this before, and pardon me for people that have been watching for the whole time.
Well, I haven't seen it.
It's everything you would. It's strictly like the '90s dynasty. Jerry buying the club, all that. They give context into the Cowboys as a team, but almost really. I was listening to Bill Simmons talk about it. They almost could have gone a little further into that. But then they talk about Jerry firing Tom Landry, hiring Jimmy Johnson, and just really chronicles those amazing years and how Jerry was a trailblazer. And he sold the rights to the doc to Netflix, and I guess it was Skydance and these other two dudes who directed it. So it's not, it is sort of like a docu-mercial, but not really. Yeah. Like there is, he didn't have final edit or anything. Like there's some shitty stuff about him in there. And apparently like Simmons was saying it, Cousin Sal was saying it, and Brian Curtis, who I love, the media critic, they were all like, dude, this is on par with The Last Dance. And it actually makes you reconsider Jerry Jones as like what he did for the NFL is undeniable. Like even
sure,
yeah, but it puts it right back in the middle of it. And it's almost like I was saying this morning, like my little take on it was, it's kind of like, it's hard to compare the two, but like Michael Jordan and The Last Dance, like how that reinvigorated his legacy. Like this is good for Jerry Jones. It is like, and it's crazy.
Of course it will be. Yeah.
But he's found a way once again, to kind of like, oh, look over here.
Dude, if I were a Cowboys fan, I wouldn't touch that documentary with somebody else's finger. Like
what?
I would, that would piss me off to no end. Knowing what's happened the last 30 years, that Jerry needs another ego boost, that would piss me off right to the edge.
Are you going to watch it as a Patriots fan?
Huh?
Will you watch it?
Yeah, I'll probably watch it. I like old football stuff. Not that old, but I like it. But even like when they did the dynasty thing for the Patriots, like that kind of pissed me off, and it was only like 2 years of being downright awful, right?
Well,
and just being like, I don't need to relive this. Like it just happened for the Patriots. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I was just like, why is this what we're focusing on? Like this team that we put out there every week's an embarrassment. And we just got this Apple TV series about how great they were a couple of years ago. And I hate it. So if I were a Cowboys fan, I don't know if I could do it.
That's what Simmons did say. He said, this is not, like it was all craft, like the
yes.
Patriots doc, and this is not like that.
I hope that's the case, because there's too many documentaries that are like the Patriots one now.
Dude,
I think the Last Dance one was like that too. Like Jordan had a big piece of that.
Oh, for sure.
Brady had a piece of his. Like maybe that's just me being Johnny journalism. I just hate that. I hate that. Like that takes away from me the point of a documentary.
Yes, it does. And you're going hardcore now, but you are right. You can't argue with that. So
it's like Jerry Lewis doing that Great Balls of Fire movie.
We
that piece of shit. Yeah.
We live in a world though where like if you give us something that is even close to like journalistically credible, we're like all over it. Like, well, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
All right, I got you for one more minute. Baylor football. What's going to happen this year?
Dude.
Seriously, like what are they going to the expectations now are off the friggin' charts, dude. And with those chrome helmets yesterday, I know how excited you are.
And it's almost all
that's one more piece of whatever in the fire, earned.
Yeah, and it's almost all internal expectations, internal hype at this point, because nobody's ranking them.
Yeah.
Nobody's picking them to win the Big 12 championship, as we've seen from some of these preseason lists. But I think double-digit wins is where you need to be. I think that's, and whether you get to 10 in a bowl game, Like that's, I think that's where you got to be. Barring a, debilitating injury, which they've had one season-ending injury, two season-ending injuries to prospective starters adjacent already. But like I'm saying, barring a, quarterback injury, you got to have double-digit wins. And if you got double-digit wins, especially in the regular season, like you're probably in that conversation for the Big 12 championship, which they need to be in. And when you're in that game, that Big 12 championship game, then you're talking about a reality of a college football playoff. So it all starts with that. Like, and if you look at the schedule, it's tough. It's tough. It's a difficult schedule.
Yeah.
But, Auburn's at home. Arizona State's at home. Kansas State's at home. Utah, if you're going to buy into all that crap, they're at home too. Houston, who gave you some fits last year with that defense, going to have a strong defense again. Maybe even they have a quarterback this year. That game's at home. TCU on the road, never easy for Baylor, ever. But most of your and SMU, like it's a road game, I guess. I guess it is. It's 90 minutes from our campus, and they never really sell out anyway. And there's not many teams we can critique that about. But SMU's one of them. So to me, that's been a huge problem with Baylor in the past, especially for this head coach, winning true road games against good teams or even mediocre teams. It's all at home. You've got so much returning. You've got an elite offense. Your defense should be better. You've hired better coaches, I think, on parts of the defense. So double-digit wins, and I'll say an appearance in the Big 12 championship game.
Woo! All right. Cameron, one more thing for you. Fans want to know.
Probably not, just because of this. I'd probably not be at Meet the Bears tomorrow because
will you be in town for August 29th?
I won't. No.
Okay. All right.
No.
Any game you're planning on attending this year?
There's one in early November. I think it's the Utah game. I don't have the schedule in front of me. But we're going to be in a wedding in Dallas that I think is on Friday night. So I'm going to try and get down here the next day for that. But
all right, well, don't be afraid to keep in touch. All right. I'm available to anytime.
I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to be afraid to keep in touch.
All right. It's Cam Stewart, the Cam Show. Check it out right now. Cam, man, it's great to see you, brother.
Great to be back. Thanks, Pete. Woo!
All right, fellas. Hey, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll be back with you Monday. I'll be on the road. Scotty Swingler just gave me some great life advice. That guy not only knows Baylor football, but he knows how to prop up a friend. We will see you next week live on the road in Rochester, New York. God willing, everybody. Have a great weekend. Hope Solo. Thank you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.